I'm Yuto and today on Sudachi I'm going to show you how to make quality homemade ramen noodles. They're way better than store-bought and only require a few ingredients. Let's get started. First I'm going to use my weighing scales to measure 125 milliliters of water into a container. I recommend using soft water if possible. Add half teaspoon of salt, one that dissolves easily. I'm using fine sea salt. And then half a teaspoon of lye water powder. We call this kansui. It's an alkaline substance that helps give the noodles their chewy texture. If you can't get kansui, you could also use baking soda in a pinch, but not baking powder. It's not exactly the same, but I've tried it and it works. Mix those together until completely dissolved. Next, sift 300 grams of bread flour into a large bowl. It's important to use high gluten wheat flour to make good ramen noodles. All-purpose or cake flour don't work for this recipe. Again, I recommend using scales for accuracy and consistency. Next, we're going to add the water mixture little by little and mix until large shaggy crumbs form. By the way, if you can only get liquid lye water, dilute it according to the package instructions so that you have 125 milliliters of liquid in total. 125 milliliters of lye water to 300 grams of flour creates a 41% hydrated dough. This percentage is ideal for first timers because the dough will be more malleable and less likely to tear. If you're confident, I recommend using a little less water, like 35%. 35% is my favorite in terms of texture. Remember that higher water percentage is more suitable for thicker noodles and the lower water percentage is ideal for thinner noodles. Keep this in mind when deciding how thick you want your ramen noodles to be. I've experimented with different percentages and written about them on my blog if you're interested in learning more. Okay, when it looks like this, transfer the crumbs to a large sealable freezer bag and then leave it to rest for an hour at room temperature. This will allow the liquid to distribute evenly through the flour, creating perfectly hydrated dough. After an hour, let's knead it. The traditional Japanese way is to use a feed, so leave in the bag and stomp on it until it's flattened and fill the bag. When it looks like this, take it out of the bag, fold it in thirds and then return it to the bag. We're going to keep repeating this for about 15 minutes or until smooth. Once it's smooth like this, push the air out, seal it up and leave it to rest for at least 24 hours. Okay, my dough has been resting for 24 hours, so now it's ready to roll and cut. Start by rolling it by hand and then cut it into manageable pieces. I'm cutting into 4 pieces to fit my pasta machine, but if you double or triple the recipe, you will need to divide it more. I'm using this Mercato Atlas 150 pasta machine with the regular spaghetti cutting attachment. I recommend a pasta machine because it is quite hard to get the dough thin enough by hand. You can also use a 1mm capellini cutter for extra thin noodles, which is ideal for Hakata style tonkotsu ramen, or a 3.5mm trinette attachment for thicker noodles like the ones used for tsukemen or jiroke. Set your pasta machine to 0 or its widest setting and run each piece of dough through. I'm going to move down one setting at a time until I reach my desired thickness, which is number 5 on this pasta machine. If the surface gets tacky at any point, dust with a small amount of flour to make sure it doesn't stick. I don't recommend going any thinner than the 5 setting, even for extra thin noodles. I tried it and it didn't work well. Once all your pieces look like this, it's time to cut. The most standard ramen is a similar size spaghetti, so if you have a 2mm spaghetti attachment, that's perfect. Just feed them through the cutters, and if they seem sticky at all, you can dust a little more flour. I have to say, although there's a bit of work and resting time involved, this is a recipe that I actually make quite often. They're the closest you can get to enjoying ramen restaurant quality at home. They're better than store-bought and can be compared to instant ramen. They're in a completely different league. If you're not cooking them straight away, divide them into separate portions and wrap with plastic wrap. If you worry about them sticking together, dust them with extra flour. Place them gently in a sealable freezer bag, being careful not to press or squash them. You can freeze them up to a month and cook from frozen. You just need to increase the boiling time a little. If you want to cook them straight away, bring a large pot of water to a rolling boil and cook the noodles for 1 minute. If you made extra thin ramen, reduce it to 45 seconds. If you made thicker type, increase it to 1 minute and 15 seconds. Once they're cooked, drain thoroughly and rinse with cold water to remove excess starch and prevent overcooking. If you plan to serve them hot, rinse with hot water before adding them to your soup. And that's it. You can use these homemade ramen noodles in ramen soups, yakisoba, chuka, and more. And great news, I've launched a free mobile app that makes following along with my recipes even easier. It's the perfect kitchen companion after watching my videos. You can access step-by-step instructions right on your phone while you cook. The download link is in the description below. If you want to learn more, check out my detailed tips, tricks, and experiment logs all on my blog. You can also submit results of your own experiments and I'll add them to the post. I have lots of delicious homemade ramen soup recipes you can try, so check out the link on the screen for more info. And if you're interested in ramen recipe videos, I put the playlist on the screen too. Thanks so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.